Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Happy Friday. Happy Friday. Happy Friday. Welcome back to another edition of the Morning Slam podcast here live on YouTube, youtube.com, also on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever that's called, Google Podcasts. Be sure to follow me here on YouTube. Subscribe to me here on YouTube, leave a like, turn on the notifications bell. You guys know what to do with the YouTube stuff, so I shouldn't have to tell you guys that. Leave a 5-star rating on whatever, podcast format that you're listening to. Like I said, Spotify and Google Podcasts and all that good stuff here. Be sure to follow me on Twitter, X. Link is down below here in whatever form of media that you're listening on for this here, and also follow me on Instagram as well. And also as well, this podcast here, Morning Slam Podcast, is sponsored by my company, my wrestling t-shirt company, Spinebuster Tees, spinebustertees.com. We have the fall sale up and running today, between now and the entirety of fall. Anything over $40 before taxes will get you free shipping. Check out the Just Enjoy Wrestling t-shirt, the Future Endeavor t-shirt, which is unfortunately in style right now. And we have an array of other designs in there as well for men, women, and in tank tops. Spinebuster Tees and spinebustertees.com. Happy Friday. How's everyone doing today? Hopefully everyone's doing well out there. Everyone is having a great week. They had a great week. The weekend's almost here. You know what I mean? What's that one song called? Everybody's working for the weekend. Well, I work every day. So I work every day. I don't consider what I do work regardless. You know what I mean? Because, I own a t-shirt website business, but it is spawning off into a whole wrestling shop. So yeah, it's very rewarding that I don't have to have a boss tell me things and come on from break on time, blah, blah, blah. So yeah, but you guys don't care about that. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. But you guys are here to hear about professional wrestling and what's going on in the news in professional wrestling on this Friday. We'll say this, that we do have some news that it can be happening at WrestleDream this weekend, and we're going to talk about that right now. Edge, Adam Copeland, earlier this week I reported that Edge imminently is going to be reporting to New Japan Pro Wrestling. Not New Japan, just kidding. Wow, that'll be a doozy, right? Not New Japan. AEW. And, WWE took Edge off their internal roster. So, this is coming from BW Insider. Edge has been removed from the miscellaneous. I don't know why I spelled like malicious here, but I think they meant to put miscellaneous. Edge has been removed from the miscellaneous list of WWE's internal roster. A couple weeks ago, Edge was removed from the internal roster, but then added on the miscellaneous list, which has been removed, where he's been removed from too. As of October 1st, he is clear and free to sign everywhere else, PW Insider. So tomorrow is the last day of September. On Sunday, he's going to sign with AEW. And the reason I'm putting that quotation marks is because, like, you probably already signed that contract already. I know legally he can, but I'm saying like a verbal agreement. He has to have been talking to Tony Khan for weeks, if not, I don't want to say months, but at least for weeks, ever since maybe his last match in WWE when he was in Toronto. So that's perhaps something that's been going on for weeks. So at the end of the day, I am happy for Adam Copeland, Edge, Sexton Hardcastle, wherever he's going to be going by. But I will say this. If you're a fan of Edge, I said this yesterday, if you're a fan of Edge, be happy for him. There's no, I'm already seeing the unnecessary hate towards Edge because he wants to continue his career and he wants to tie up loose ends that he never got to tie up in the first place when he had to retire due to his neck. So, be happy for the man. If he comes out to Alter Bridge, if he comes out to Pearl Jam, he's a big Pearl Jam guy too as well from what I heard. He lives in, he doesn't live in Seattle, but they're going to be in Seattle for the pay-per-view. Be happy for the guy, man. Be happy for the guy. Hopefully they have some good plans for him. Hopefully they have something that is going to be worthwhile for Edge at the end of the day. And, like I said, be happy for the guy. You got a lot of dream matches there in AEW for Edge. I mean, obviously you got the Edge versus Christian dynamic, but you have Edge and Christian as a tag team versus FTR, the Young Bucks, the Guns. You have a lot of one-on-one matches. Again, I just mentioned Christian, Kenny Omega, Jay White, Samoa Joe, right? You got a lot of names there. MJF. I can't forget about MJF. Adam Cole once he's healthy. Again, you got just a slew of names. Edge versus Sting, maybe. You know what I mean? In some aspect. Probably Sting's not going to have a one-on-one match. He's been in tag team matches, but it could be like Darby and Sting versus Edge and Christian. I'm down for that. Darby versus Edge. I'm down for that. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of names that Adam Copeland can sink his teeth into to, really end his career in a satisfying note. I'm not expecting him to win the AEW World Championship. I'm not going to complain if he does, right? I'm really expecting him there for him to fulfill his needs that he wants, and he's going to end up retiring. Who knows how long this contract is going to be? It can only be for maybe 1 year, 2 years. We don't know. But as of right now, it seems like Edge is AEW bound, and he's imminently going to show up at WrestleDream on Sunday. I'm expecting Edge to show up on Sunday. If he doesn't show up, that's going to be a letdown because, in my opinion, that's going to be a letdown for that. So now, one thing too as well, there's still some people that say, well, if he's going to be at AEW, as a wrestler, but he can still, be in WWE, as a legend or whatever, have a Legends contract. That's not going to happen. They're not going to do that. I think the only person that they have that with right now is Jake the Snake Roberts, and Jake Snake's not an in-ring competitor for AEW. So I think that's probably where as well. They did have a Billy Gunn figure coming out, but I think that was before Billy signed on to AEW to be a wrestler too as well, because previously he was just a coach. So, as of right now, like all your Edge merchandise, your Edge t-shirts, action figures, you better get those things now because those things are going to go up in price significantly for sure. And I can definitely imagine that a lot of the stuff that I have, because I have a few Edge things in my store, those things are going to go up in price because he's going to be showing up in AEW. So, but yeah, again, Edge, Adam Copeland going to AEW, looking to appear at WrestleDream this Sunday. It seems to be inevitable at this point. And again, as I mentioned, good for Adam Copeland at the end of the day. I wish him happiness and healthiness. The only thing I will say is that I hope, because Bryan Danielson over there, luckily he hasn't had any injuries like to his head area. You know what I mean? Like, to his arms and stuff, things of that nature. Yeah. And I think he did. I don't remember. Did he have like a slight concussion or something like that he was out for a while? I think. Well, yeah. Well, never mind. I think I take that back, because I think he did get like some type of head injury. When he was out the first time, when he had to miss. He had to miss the first Forbidden Door. So there's that. Anyway, regardless. I really wish Edge the best health in AEW as well, because that it is not going to be for the weak of heart when he's going to be there in AEW. So hopefully everything goes according to plan health wise with Adam Copeland. So wishing him the best. AEW Dynamite got the rating for it, and I forgot to get the rating for NXT on Tuesday, so that's my bad. But, and just to know, I don't have the exact number for NXT right in front of me, but I just know that it went down significantly in its ratings and viewership. So, but for AEW Dynamite on Wednesday, they had 855,000 viewers, 0.28 in the demo. Apparently the MJF and the Adam Cole segment with JY, apparently that almost drew 1 million, close to 1 million. So, hey man, that's good. I'm glad to see that AEW hasn't dipped lower than 800,000, recently at least, ever since CM Punk left. Again, there was some heritage due to CM Punk leaving, but it seems like they're kind of simmering out now, and they're putting on good TV. I'm really enjoying what they're putting on AEW right now, both on Dynamite and Collision. And the fact of the matter is that they have this new storyline, this whodunit storyline, which is always very popular in pro wrestling. There's going to be more people that's going to end up watching. I expect that rating to go up significantly next week, because if Edge is coming in, maybe, possibly, this is just a long shot, Mercedes Moné. A lot of people forget about Mercedes being at Wembley at All In. She wasn't just there for a reason, in my opinion, at least. Then you have this whodunit storyline involving MJF and MJF's Devil's Mask and 5, unknown assailants being down Jay White. And could it be Adam Cole? You know what I mean? Could it be someone else? So that's going to be interesting as well. I expect AEW's reign to go up significantly. Will it get to 1 million? I don't think so. I don't think so. It'll be over 900,000 though, unless something like very, very detrimental happens on Sunday. You know what I mean? Like someone says something very racist on on WrestleDream, and that guy doesn't get fired, or Tony Khan, he just has a midlife crisis at the WrestleDream press conference, or something like that. So, or Mia Scrum, I should say. But yeah, man, very interesting for that. So, we're hopefully AEW continues to go that onward and upward success with their viewership and also with their TV as well. Moving on. We don't have any shows to review today, so it's going to be all stories. So next story here, Next, this is the other picture in the thumbnail. CM Punk. Shawn Micheals was on the No Mercy media call, and he said a lot of things on this call, and we're going to be talking about those things here. But one of the things that he mentioned is he was asked about CM Punk. Do you think CM Punk will come back to WWE? Can you see him in NXT? Shawn says he's a guy that does numbers and makes money. I think that will be a risk reward ratio that I'm sure from a company standpoint they have to consider. But when it comes to would we take him in NXT and have him on our television? Are you kidding me? Of course I would. I just don't think anybody would let me. Who doesn't take that kind of star power? So, Shawn and CM Punk, I mean, from what I know, they don't really have any ill will against each other. There's really no beef. To my knowledge, I haven't really seen CM Punk come out and says that, I'm a huge Shawn Michaels fan, I'm a huge mark for him, and this, that, and the other. I'm pretty sure there would be little snippets of him talking to, him in passing, talking about Shawn Michaels in passing. But I never heard CM Punk say, I hate Shawn Michaels, he's a piece of shit, and I never hear him say that either. So, would Shawn want him in NXT? Absolutely. Do I personally think it's going to happen? No. Do I think CM Punk is coming back to WWE in some aspect? At this point in time, yes. Do I think CM Punk could go to NXT once he's signed to WWE to have a match or two down there? I believe so. I think so because I think that's what CM Punk will want to do anyway. He likes to, it seems like he likes to teach and teach. And I think, I think WWE will eventually, if CM Punk sign, I think eventually they will send CM Punk down there to NXT. I personally don't want to see it because I think you should just focus on your current stars that you have right now. Focus on the youth. Focus on building up everyone possible that you have on TV. And you're going to get a lot more people on TV soon there, including Brian Pillman Jr. You're going to have this breakout tournament for the women as well. Now, some people are going to leave, right? Your Tiffany Strattons may end up leaving, going to the main roster. You may end up getting your Lyra Valkyrias going to the main roster. You may end up getting, more people going to the main roster, right? Maybe Braun Breaker as well, considering, right? Von Kali. So I call Von Wagner Von Kali because he looks like Von Kali in a way. He looks like Von Kali's American son. You know what I mean? And we learned about, I've been calling him this for like a year and a half now. But we know kind of what happened like with Von Wagner's, when he was a baby and all that stuff. There's a complete story behind that. And Von Kali is the best wrestler in the history of WWE, period. Better than Angle, better than Shawn, better than Taker, better than Austin, better than Rock. He's the best, period. In ring, promos, presence, just everything. Like he's undefeated to me. Von Kali. Anyway. But I see CM Punk going down to NXT in some fashion if he were to get signed by WWE just for WWE. I want you guys to listen to this clearly. Just for WWE to stick it to AEW. And the story behind that will be, hey, our kids down here love CM Punk. Our kids down here want to learn from CM Punk. There's no problems here. Our kids listen. CM Punk's not really that bad towards the younger talent. Wouldn't that be ironic? That WWE wants to make AEW look bad in all aspects. Period. Hey, you can't do anything with Jade Cargill. Can't make her a star. Guess what? We're gonna make her a huge star. It's gonna be your mistake. Hey, you're saying that CM Punk was a cancer to the locker room? No, because when we have CM Punk down here in NXT, our kids listen to him. Maybe your kids don't listen to him. That's gonna be the narrative. I'm not saying that's 100% true to what actually happened in AEW. It was a little bit both sides there. CM Punk, was in the wrong. The young talent there was in the wrong. Like, for example, Jungle Boy. What happened with Jungle Boy, right? So you don't think that Shawn wants to get Phil Brooks down there? You don't think that Nick Khan wants to try to get Phil Brooks down there one way or another? It remains to be seen, guys. We still got a long way to go before we see CM Punk, possibly in WWE. But, yeah, man. Do I think that can happen? Absolutely. I think it can happen. Do I want it to happen? Me personally, no. Do I think that WWE wants to have it happen? Yes. Just, again, because of the fact of they just want to make AEW look as bad as they can, as second league as they can in all aspects. And I don't blame them at the end of the day. It's a business. It's a business at the end of the day. All right, moving on here to more Shawn Michaels from the NXT media call here. Shawn Michaels said that he found out about Mustafa Ali's release just before he did. He thinks the world of Ali. They had a great relationship, and he will miss him. He says that Ali is bright and talented, and he will have a successful future. Very true. I'm always been a huge fan of Ali. Always been a huge fan of Mustafa Ali, and I still will be going forward. Just because he's not gonna be in WWE no more, I'm still gonna be a fan of him. Wherever he makes his claim in the Indies, wherever he goes to AEW, which I personally don't agree with because he's gonna get lost in the shuffle. If you can't do anything with Malachi Black or Miro or Andrade consistently, what makes you think I trust you with Ali, Mustafa Ali? So I don't necessarily want him to go to AEW. Maybe Impact. Impact, he does have he has more of a ceiling over there in Impact for sure. But another thing too as well is that, and I mentioned this on the Drew Yari Experience. You should check him out on the Discord. I know he's on Spotify and Google Podcasts as well. I mentioned this when the firings happened. I said that, how does this new merger is going to fuck up what goes on in the day-to-day operations in WWE? On the TKO banner, the original TKO banner when it got released, when they had that merger a couple Tuesdays ago, they had, I forgot the male wrestler that they had. And I think they had Cena. They had Cena on the banner, and they had Trinity, Impact's Knockouts champion Trinity, on that banner. That told me immediately, these guys in the graphics department doesn't watch the product. At least the head of the graphics department doesn't watch the product. Because why would you put a former WWE wrestler on that banner and a current Impact Knockouts champion on that banner? That tells you don't know what you're doing. That tells you don't know what's going on the shows. You tell me you don't know what's going on the roster. That tells me that you don't do your 5-minute research on who's the champions, who's the popular guys, who can I put on this banner here. So with this Mustafa Ali getting fired in the middle of a program where he was supposed to face off against Dom Mysterio at No Mercy this Saturday, that told me again that TKO doesn't care about what's going on television, or they didn't know. Now, here's my thing. I have two sides to this here, maybe even three. Number one, Mustafa Ali could have asked for his release. He could have asked for his release because if you remember last year, he was trying to get out of his contract for a long while, was on TV for a long while until he finally came back. He's like, you know what? Yeah, I'll come back. You know what I mean? So he was asking for his release. He was on the main roster. He ended up going back down to NXT. He was doing some good stuff down there at NXT, revitalizing his character. Gets let go. Right? So he could have asked for his release. As a possibility because he asked for his release last year. Unless he had a change of heart. That's number one. Number two, TKO either knew about it and they say, fuck it, we're just going to release him anyway. You know what I mean? Like, budget's budget. Like, we got to let him go. So, my thing is that if you were going to let him go, I would have done what they would have done with the Drake Maverick. Rockstar Spud. Remember what they did with Rockstar Spud? Drake Maverick? I believe it was the Cruiserweight Championship Tournament in NXT. And I think it was 2019 or 2020. Yeah, I think it was during the pandemic when they let everyone go. That big, massive firing. You know, was it Black Tuesday, Black Thursday, wherever it was, right? They let Drake actually have his final match on NXT after he got fired. They let him have his final match. So, I'm trying to figure out, what harm is it to have Mustafa Ali, who's had a better career than Drake Maverick in WWE. He has more memorable moments in WWE. I'm not saying that Mustafa Ali is like a top 10 WWE wrestler of all time. But if you can do that for Drake Maverick, you can't do that for Mustafa Ali. Again, maybe Mustafa didn't want to be there. I don't know. But it's an interesting story that Shawn saying that he barely found out about Mustafa Ali's release at the time of when it happened. So, alrighty. So, keep on lock on where Mustafa goes. Next, we got a new NXT pay-per-view scheduled. Deadline. That was last year's Iron Survivor Challenge. It's going to be set for December the 9th in Bridgeport, Connecticut. And it's going to be taking place from the, I think it's called the Total Mortgage Arena in Connecticut. On the poster, you have Dragon Lee, Ilya Dragunov, Lyra Valkyria, Carmelo Hayes, and Tiffany Stratton. And it looks like they are locked in one of those penalty boxes that we saw last year for the Iron Survivor Challenge. So it looks like the Iron Survivor Challenge is coming back. Good. I like innovative stuff in pro wrestling. I like things when they're always are innovating, where if it's show concepts, as in Deadline, match types, as in the Iron Survivor Challenge, wrestling moves, right? That's why I'm very fond of indie wrestling and high-flying wrestling as well, because high-flying wrestling is where you get the most innovative stuff. Sometimes it doesn't make sense for psychology-wise, but just the stuff that they can do to innovate is very good. But Deadline's coming back, and I can't wait. I want to see who's going to be in the Iron Survivor Challenge. So that's going to be very interesting as well. But NXT Deadline, December 9th in Bridgeport, Connecticut. More news. This is coming from the Wrestling Observer newsletter. So every Friday morning, before I even wake up, Meltzer puts out the Wrestling Observer newsletter. So we either get a 5-star match somewhere, which we did. I'm not gonna cover it here because I don't think no one will really care. I care. It was a Will Ospreay match, but yeah, I personally care. But we'll start it next week. We'll start it next week with the pay-per-views. But not even the 5-star matches. But he just this is where he gives the star ratings every Friday. He puts out news as well for the Wrestling Observer newsletter. So Fridays is going to be a big Wrestling Observer day. So this first one coming from Wrestling Observer in the newsletter, Roman Reigns will be defending his undisputed WWE Universal Championship on November the 4th show in Saudi Arabia. So that's not really huge news per se, because the Saudis want all the biggest stars possible there that they can, and Roman is definitely one of those guys for sure. He is the biggest star in pro wrestling after all, right? So I know the last show there they had the tag team match, of Solo and Roman versus the Usos. So now Roman is going there November the 4th. November the 4th Versus who, though? Versus who is going to be the question. I'm thinking it's probably going to be LA Knight. I honestly don't want that to happen, though. I don't want LA Knight to be in that match. And I was just double checking here. It wasn't in Saudi. It was in United Kingdom from Money in the Bank. I don't know how I get that confused. I'm old. I'm old. I don't remember everything. And plus there's more wrestling to consume now than ever, so I'm not gonna remember every detail. So, but regardless, though, I don't want LA Knight to go up against Roman Reigns, and I mentioned this before. And the reason why I don't want LA Knight to go up against Roman Reigns is because LA Knight is beginning his ascent up that roller coaster. I'm a huge LA Knight fan. I was probably a LA Knight fan longer than most of you guys. I've been a LA Knight fan since he was Eli Drake. Dummy, yeah. He used to use dummy, yeah, first. Not just yeah, dummy, yeah, in Impact. When he had Chris Masters as his heater. You know what I mean? So, yeah. I've been watching Eli Drake, LA Knight, I don't want to say forever, but for a long while now. His stuff in NWA was fantastic. I think he probably cut his best promo ever in the NWA. The most memorable one for me, because he has a very old school cadence to his promos, and on how he speaks, and just in that setting, it was just great for him. But I don't want to see LA Knight. Is it going to be LA Knight? Most likely, yes, the way that's probably going to go down. And LA Knight is, we'll talk about that a little bit later, but he may be ready for SmackDown tonight. But I don't want to see LA Knight, because once he loses to Roman, anything else that he does after this is going to be looked at as less. It just is. And it's true. Everything that he's going to do after this is going to be looked at as less. I'm not saying that he's not going to be popular anymore. I'm not saying he's not going to get a big pop. I love LA Knight. What I'm trying to say is that I'm trying to, me personally, I want to hope that LA Knight's run right now will be sustainable, right, all the way through. And I don't want this match to end up stifling him. Yeah, he can have a good match against Roman Reigns. Yeah, he could get near pinfalls and things of that nature. But what does it mean the following night? What does it mean the following night? He's going to lose to Roman, and everything that he's going to be doing after that is going to be looked at less than. Why not have LA Knight go after the United States Championship? I know they did that already, right? But officially have him win the United States Championship. That'll be great. That'll be a great first step up the ladder. This tag team match with possibly him and John Cena versus the Bloodline, that's cool. That's fine. I have no, I'm good with that. I like that. I really do. I really do. But just going straight to Roman, I don't agree with, because again, he's not going to beat Roman Reigns. He's going to get fed to Roman Reigns, and it's just going to be another person on the list that Roman has defeated during this title reign. That's all it's going to be. That's all it's going to be. Roman Reigns, like, at this point, he's going to be beating, I think at this point, it'll be at least three, as of Sunday, 3 wrestlers who are now in AEW. That I can think off the top of my head. Bryan Danielson, Claudio Castagnoli, and Edge. There may be more, possibly. I can't think right now. That's in AEW. That during this title reign. I don't know. Andrade, Miro, and Malachi, they were all gone before then. But you guys get my point. Yeah, man. It's going to be LA Knight. I understand it's most likely probably going to be LA Knight. I just don't want it to be LA Knight. So, next story here from the Wrestling Observer newsletter here. More Jade Cargill news. Not news. It's not really news, just a note, because it's pretty much things that we knew already. But WWE has been working on significant creative for Jade Cargill on the main roster for weeks now. Not really news per se, but just a note, just confirming other reports that are out there. Jade Cargill will be on the main roster, and they're working on significant creative for her. Now, my question is, what is that significant creative? Is it her, taking out Nia Jax? Is it her challenging Charlotte? Is it her? Now, if she comes in and beats Charlotte, like on the first go, all right. That's significant because they do everything to protect Charlotte Flair. They do everything to protect Charlotte Flair. That'll be quite significant if Jade comes in and beats Charlotte Flair in her first feud. That's significant, right? So what is significant creative for? I don't know. We can all speculate. There's a lot of things out there. The one thing I don't want to see immediately is her versus Bianca. Don't want to see it immediately. Do not want to see it immediately. Do I think that WWE is going to try to pull the trigger on it? Yes, because they can't keep their load. They can't keep their load in their pants. They're going to blow it. So, Jade Cargill, significant plans for the main roster. So, that's not really news. That should have been obvious already, but that was confirmed by Dave Meltzer. Next, we have I don't know how should I say this, a tease, I guess that's the best word, a teaser from Matt Riddle. Riddle put on his Instagram and on his Twitter X, he put, it's a pink background and in a lime green font, kind of like the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, you know what I mean, in that graffiti style art. It says Riddle OG. It says Riddle OG. So I'm not too sure what this is. I don't know. A lot of people are speculating that it can be him going back to MMA, and I did report on that. There are several MMA companies that are interested in getting Riddle. This could be him going back to the Indies and going back to his, I won't say old character, because the character they did in WWE is kind of like an extension of the old character they did on the Indies. Or it could be a wheat strand. I'm not kidding. It could be a wheat strand. It could be like, man, you want some of that Riddle OG, bro? Like, it could be a wheat strand. We know how he loves his herbs. We know how he loves his herbs. So it could be a new strain of weed. It can be him, or edible too, maybe, I don't know. Or it can be, him going back to MMA or maybe the Indies. So very cryptic there from Mr. Matthew Riddle. We'll have to keep tabs on that and see where he goes from here. I don't know. News that came out last, like 2 nights ago. But I didn't report on this because I didn't see it. And no one was talking about it. Not even the big wrestling YouTubers and YouTube channels like your Cultaholics and like your Steven Larsons, and there's only so much to talk about in one day too as well. So I can see why it may have got swept on the rug, but unfortunately, this got swept on the rug because this could have been someone's life. So Trey Miguel. If you know Trey Miguel, he's part of the Rascals. Him and Wes Lee and Nash Carter, right? Remember Nash Carter as well? They were the Rascals in Impact. Now it's just Trey Miguel and I forget Nash Carter's indie name, and I should know it because I see it. I see it like at least a couple times a week. Zachary Wentz. The guy that's dating Gigi Dolan. Lucky guy. He got rid of the the toxicity of Kimberly. Got rid of that toxicity of our city. Everyone knows that song. Anyway, he said this on X. He said that was involved in a hit and run tonight that sent my fiance and I into a pole on the Florida Turnpike. The Ford F-150 hit a car that hit us and sent us spiraling into a pole before fleeing. No reports from witnesses have been made. Such good people we live amongst. 10 cars, 0 eyes. So first and foremost, if Trey Miguel is seeing this, if you happen to see this, if you happen to look up wrestling news anymore, I don't know. He probably doesn't give a fuck about this. Probably doesn't give a fuck about podcasts like this. But sending all strength and prayers your way, man. You know what I mean? I can't say that I'm a huge fan. I'm not gonna sit here and bullshit. I can't say like I'm a huge fan of Trey Miguel per se, but I like his in-ring stuff. I think it's a talent. But at the end of the day, this is a person, this is a human being. This is someone that's part of our wrestling family, our wrestling fraternity and sorority too, because you got women too. But it's part of that family, and no matter if you haven't seen a match of his, no matter if you can't stand him, no matter if you love him, right? At the end of the day, this is a human being in the wrestling community, a wrestling champion, that him and his fiance could have nearly been seriously injured, if not worse. So, I'm just glad to hear that he's all right. Glad to hear that he's okay, right? So, hopefully there's something that comes out of this. Hopefully he's not seriously injured, if injured at all. And, yeah. So, wishing Trey Miguel of the Rascals, Impact's talent, everything, all the prayers is going out to you, my man. Moving on. Sami Callihan. I reported a couple days ago that Sami Callihan was on the verge of leaving Impact, and that there's speculation out there that, where is it going to be going? Is it going to be going to AEW? Is it going to be going to WWE? Well, as of right now, at least, he puts last night on his X that for the first time in almost 3 years, I will be taking select any bookings for matches, seminars, signings, appearance, etc. DMs are open. So he's getting back on the indie scene. I don't know how long this will be. I don't know if it's temporary, right? I don't know if it's something that he's going to be doing in connection with AEW, maybe, perhaps. And the reason why I'm saying AEW and not WWE, because WWE doesn't let you do indie bookings. I'm just saying, they don't let you do your indie stuff. You know what I mean? Like, they don't let you do that. You're exclusively signed to WWE, which is the correct way of doing it. AEW does let you do indie stuff. So as of right now, if I will say, well, will Sami Callihan be going to AEW? I'm leaning towards more between AEW and WWE. He may just do the indies for all we know, right? He doesn't have to go to AEW or WWE. He just doesn't have to. But if I'm leaning towards more AEW right now, or New Japan's out there too as well. I don't know if he wants to go to New Japan or Noah or anywhere else too as well. But it seems like Sami Callihan is officially done with Impact just by that there of Impulse Sam, because again, Impact doesn't let you do they don't let you do indie bookings either. There's exclusive contracts to Impact, which is interesting. So it's at least to my no, that's not true, because I do see like Mike Bailey and stuff. I don't know if his contract in particular was exclusive to Impact. That could have been that too, because Mike Bailey does indie stuff, and like Brian Miners, you know what I mean? So Trey Miguel, he does indie stuff as well. He does indie shows too as well at times. So I think it's only certain talents, right? But I know guys like I haven't seen Deonna Purrazzo do anything on the indie scene. Steve Macklin, obviously Sami Callihan as well. So I think it's just certain contracts. I don't know, but again, hope he finds happiness on what he does. Another news story here. Unfortunate news story. I didn't report on this yesterday either. Just because we had a lot in the show here, and I didn't want to have a lot of sad news stories in here, but this is another sad news story here. So this is somber Friday so far, with the last couple of news stories here. But Alpha Jr., also known as Manu, he used to be in the original Legacy, I want to say, with Randy Orton, Ted DiBiase, Cody Rhodes, and Randy Orton. Alpha Anoy Jr. is dealing with heart issues, and a GoFundMe campaign is launched for medical expenses. Alpha Anoy Jr., formerly known as Manu, is dealing with health issues. Lance Anoy, which is his nephew, took to social media and stated that his uncle, Alpha Anoy Jr., is having serious health issues. He asked for everyone to keep the family in their prayers. He shared a GoFundMe page for Alpha. So it's not Alpha, one of the Wild Samoans. It's Manu. So, yeah, it's right as of right now. Reading this, there's 96 donations, $7,765 raised out of a goal of $100,000, and yeah, it's sad, man. And I see some of the names here, and I believe that's Thunder Rosa there. Melissa Cervantes, that's Thunder Rosa. Yes, that's our local girl here in San Antonio. Love Thunder, man. She's awesome. She's awesome, you know. But you know, so we do see, and there's a top donation here of $1,000 from a Ronnie Reamer. I don't know if he's in the business. That name doesn't sound familiar to me at all. Don't know, but you know, good for Mr. Reamer. Thank you for you know, sending that support in as well. So, but I think the only noble note here is that I saw so far was Thunder Rosa. Also see here, it looks like a local wrestling organization here put $100 in, is a BCWF Wrestling. So yeah, man, I mean, usually like this, the wrestling community comes together in situations like this. So yeah, Michael Hayes put $100 in there too as well. Yeah, Michael Sites, that's his real name. So I mean, one thing I can't say about you know, professional wrestling and wrestling, you know, usually we will come together in, even though it's in bad situations like this, we should come together more often in most situations, not just when, you know, someone is you know, vaguely ill, and you know, and then, you know, and the worst could possibly happen to them. But, you know, saying prayers to Alpha Anoy Jr., Manu, and, you know, we'll wish him the best. And hopefully I don't have to come on here and bring you guys any more sad news about him. I want to hear, next time I want to report some good news on Manu. Speed recovery, my man. Next, let's get into SmackDown. We don't have a lot of news stories left here either, guys. It's going to be a short show today. I think Thursdays, from what I probably, or Fridays rather. Fridays I'm probably going to learn, because there's no shows to review. This may end up being a short show on Fridays. And unless like huge news comes out, like the Jade Cargill situation, that when she got signed to WWE on Tuesday. So, but SmackDown, I didn't see a preview. I didn't see an official preview on WWE's X or on their website for SmackDown tonight. So that's you know, whatever. But regardless of all that, LA Knight is expected to return at tonight's WWE SmackDown taping in Sacramento. Good. He had COVID. And this is coming from PW Insider as well. Always, you young podcasters are out there, always say where you got your source from. Always give those people credit, because we're basically still in it. we're basically still in it here. Yeah, so he's back. That's good. You know, this thing with John Cena and the Bloodline, that's gonna be great. You know what I mean? So hopefully he's back ready to go for tonight on SmackDown, on SmackDown. And yeah, man, that's gonna be awesome. Also, MC is gonna get a huge pop. Hopefully, he comes out to do the save. Hopefully, they reenact the same spot that they were supposed to do last week, with LA Knight coming out to do the save, and he comes out and get the save. It's gonna be a huge pop in Sacramento. So I think Steven Larson's gonna be there as well. Steven Larson from Gorian and Raw. I think they're gonna be there in attendance on SmackDown. More things from SmackDown. Last week's match between Io Sky and Asuka got 4 stars. It got 4 stars from Dave Meltzer. It would have been 5 stars in Tokyo Dome. It would have been 5 stars in Chicago. That's one of my t-shirts on SpineBusterTees.com. It says, and I'll pull it up real quick here for the people here on YouTube, but let me bring it up here real quick. Let me see if I can get that pause in there. Boom, right there. See where it says Tokyo, 5 stars. Chicago, 5 stars. Ram City, 4.5. That's the situation that we have going on here with Io Sky and Asuka. But it was at least a 4-star match. Do I think it was a 4.5 or a 5-star? No. I stated that this was the best TV match of the year for the women. And I think in all companies, when it comes to TV matches, is it the best women's match of the year? No. Could it be match of the year contender? Possibly. I'm not gonna, say that, oh, this was, match of the year. If you say this match of the year, you're stupid. Definitely not gonna go that far. But hey, at the end of the day, these women, again, they got the highest amount of viewers on them during SmackDown last Friday. People were invested in this match and delivered. I mean, what more else can you say? You know what I mean? What else more can you say? The women deserved it. Moving on to even more SmackDown stuff. This is huge. No one's going to see it unless if you're in Sacramento tonight. Steven Larson, they're going to gush themselves there because they love both guys, especially the ring general. I kind of messed up the first time, but But anyway, Gunther versus Seth Rollins tonight on SmackDown. Dark match tonight. And it doesn't say that it's happening for sure. It says WWE are advertising, card subject to change, Seth Rollins versus Gunther as the dark match tonight for SmackDown. And there was really no source on this here. So whoever had this source originally, I apologize. But maybe it just came from like an email or something from the arena. I don't know. But yeah, man, that could be a WrestleMania 40 preview. We can have a WrestleMania 40 preview. And usually when they have these dark matches, usually when they have these house shows, they like to test future feuds. This is going to be a future feud regardless. The question is, will this be a feud for the World Heavyweight Championship? And will this be a feud for WrestleMania 40? It should be. I need it. I need it in my veins. You know what I mean? In my veins, like what Randy Orton's, Titantron says, right? Or his T-shirt says, "In my veins." I need this in my veins. So if you're going to the show, if you live in Sacramento, California, and if you're watching this podcast or you have been watching this podcast, let me know after the show ends, and if this match does happen, leave a comment on this video and let me know if it was great or not. So, Gunther vs. Seth Rollins apparently is happening tonight. Advertised at least for SmackDown. So that is definitely a treat. And one thing I will say this: why the hell are 2 Raw guys on SmackDown? I know it's a dark match, but why are they there? It makes me so upset and angry. It shouldn't be this. The brand split is supposed to be the brand split. But as of tonight, at least, if I'm going there in Sacramento, if I was there, I will not complain about it. Even though I just did. But You guys get it. Moving on. This could be big. This could be huge. This, I don't want to say game-changing, but it definitely could be something big here. As of next month, WWE Raw and SmackDown will be in Japan streaming via Ambiba. Abema. Abema, I think that's how you say it. Abema. So, Abema is a streaming platform in Japan. So, on the Raw, they have two graphics here. And on the Raw graphic, you have Shinsuke Nakamura, of course. You got to appeal to the Japanese demographic. Rhea Ripley, Becky Lynch, Cody Rhodes. You know, he was formerly in the Bullet Club in Japan. Finn Balor, Prince Devitt, the original Bullet Club leader. Gunther, I think I said Seth Rollins already, and Akira Tozawa. On the SmackDown one graphic, you have Roman Reigns, of course, Asuka, of course, Io Sky, of course, AJ Styles, of course, Bianca Belair, Rey Mysterio, you got Jimmy Uso, and you got Carl Anderson. They snuck Carl Anderson in there. Like, we didn't forget about you. But, I mean, Carl Anderson, man, like, he's like New Japan, like, just have New Japan in his blood. I just think that's funny that they snuck in Carl Anderson on there. Like, gotta appeal that Japanese demographic. Remember Carl Anderson? He's here. So, the reason why I'm saying that this is big is because that and in a second I'm gonna read the official notice that WWE corporate put out. But the reason why I think this is big is because of the fact that they tried in India. Remember when they got, I think it was like Set TV or Sony TV or wherever it was in India, wherever they got that television deal down in India. That's when they had Jinder Mahal as champion, and they eventually had Jinder Mahal go to India as WWE champion. Can you imagine, and I'm putting this out there in the universe, that Shinsuke Nakamura will end up becoming World Heavyweight Champion, and that they're going to, I'm not saying that he's going to beat Seth Rollins, but I'm saying eventually that they get Shinsuke as champion, or maybe even AJ Styles again as champion, just to, push and really try to get the folks in Japan, more aware of WWE. Now you're not going to push out New Japan Pro Wrestling. That's not going to happen. New Japan is like, they treat New Japan as an actual sport in Japan. But it's very interesting that this is happening. Are we going to see a Japan pay-per-view? The last Japanese show, I believe, that we've seen was The Beast in the East special that happened on July 4th, I want to say, 2016. It's definitely one of my favorite shows from that year, and definitely one of my guilty pleasure shows of all time, really because of the whole spectacle and the surreal experience of seeing people saying, Japanese people going NXT, NXT, NXT in the crowd, when normally Japanese crowds are traditionally quiet and respectful. So that was like, oh wow, and they were still doing like the Japanese traditions as throwing streamers in the ring as well. Like, that was so awesome, and they were in sumo hall too as well, and Michael Cole, calling matches in sumo hall. Like, that's so surreal. I think this is a bigger deal, and I think this could be big for WWE, because again, they also want to move into the Japanese market even more, because we know that Triple H wants to take over the world with a whole bunch of NXTs as well. Because there's still supposed to be maybe an NXT Europe coming. Remember when NXT UK got shut down last year? It's been over a year now since it's been shut down, but that got shut down, and there was supposed to be a revitalization of NXT Europe. I don't think that's coming anytime soon, but maybe they want to do an NXT Japan. Maybe they want to do an NXT Mexico. Maybe they want to do an NXT Australia. I don't see those things out of the question. And I'm going to read this here real quick from, I guess this is from official WWE note, but it says here that Abema, I guess Abema, to become home of WWE in Japan, Raw and SmackDown will be broadcast free to air with Japanese commentary for first time. Premium live events including WrestleMania, SummerSlam, and Fastlane to broadcast live in Japan. And it says here, let me see here, Raw and SmackDown. Hold on, Jesus Christ, man. Like my ex keeps messing up. Thanks, Elon. Raw and SmackDown will both broadcast free to air. I don't know why they put it like this, because they put the little hyphens in front of it. Anyway, it confuses me. You can tell I only graduated from the 8th grade, guys. I have a second grade reading level. Let's try this again. Raw and SmackDown will both broadcast free to air in Japan every week with Japanese commentary immediately following first broadcast in the U.S. for the first time ever, starting with Raw on Tuesday, October 3rd. Remember, they're a day ahead of us. And every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. local time. And SmackDown on Saturday, October 7th, and every Saturday night at 8 p.m. local time. Both weekly shows will be available to watch on demand. The new agreement will also see NXT to be available to watch on demand in Japan via Abema, Jesus Christ, video. Additional all premium live events will air exclusively live on Abema. With all past editions of WrestleMania. Also, they get all the WrestleManias. That's cool. Available to view on demand via the Abema video beginning October the 1st. It's pretty big, guys. Don't let this news sleep lightly. Could we get a Japanese show in the Tokyo Dome? I don't know. I don't know the exclusive rights. We'll just say that, exclusive rights. I don't know the exclusive rights for the Tokyo Dome in Japan. I know that obviously New Japan goes there. I think Noah has shows there as well. I'm not too sure if WWE can run a show by themselves in the Tokyo Dome. They've done that before. They did have joint shows in the Tokyo Dome before with like New Japan and Wrestler and Romance. Remember that? So that has happened before, but I don't know if they can run a show by themselves in the Tokyo Dome. So that's very interesting. So keep an eye out on that. And we're gonna close off with 3 more news stories here, and we'll call it a stream, call it a week. Keeping up with New Japan and Japanese wrestling, New Japan are going to have, they announced 4 new shows. Royal Quest 3 is going to be on October the 14th in London, England. That's going to be at the Copper Box Arena. You got New Japan Fighting Spirit Unleashed, October the 28th. That's going to be in Las Vegas, Nevada, from Sam's Town Live. So New Japan's expanding more into the United States, and I think it's their first time in Las Vegas. I may be wrong. But on the poster from the UK show, you got Naito, you got Zack Sabre Jr., Will Ospreay, obviously the 2 Brits there. You got Tanahashi, Sonata, you got Ishii, and you got Takagi. On the Las Vegas show, you got Julia, which is the New Japan Strong Women's Champion. One of the best women's wrestlers in the world. Like, she's really good. It came from Stardom. And as I mentioned, if you come from Stardom, you're going to be good in some fashion. Like, it's just inevitable. Eddie Kingston, You got on here Sanada, Hiroshi Tanahashi, Naito, and Takagi. The third show is going to be, there's no one on this graphic here, but it's going to be called the Lone Star Shootout. Guess where that is? That's in Dallas, Texas. That's going to be on Friday, November the 10th from the Curtis Colwell Center in Dallas, Texas. And they're announcing Battle in the Valley, I believe part 2, Saturday, January 13th, 2024 from the San Jose Civic. So, remember last year, Battle in the Valley, that's where we got Mercedes Moné versus Kairi. So, New Japan is breaking out into the United States even more, and they're breaking out into the Western, into the Western Hemisphere a little bit more as well. But that actually gets me to speculate even more about Tony Khan possibly buying New Japan Pro Wrestling. I know that the rumors were debunked, but I can't help it. I can't help it but not to have my tinfoil cap on and speculate, damn it, and speculate that perhaps, maybe, possibly, that Tony Khan's buying out New Japan and that he's using these shows to get into these markets and to get people more aware here in the United States about New Japan Pro Wrestling. So that's super cool. I'm happy for New Japan. I'm happy that they're getting more exposure here in the United States. They deserve it. They put on great wrestling. And even if you don't understand, Japanese wrestling, on what they do here, or even the commentary, you got English commentary as well. So Jim Ross was doing New Japan for a while as well. Also, Moro now was doing New Japan too as well. So yeah, get New Japan World is worth the money to me, especially if you're paying only $10 a month, but at the same time as well, it's like if you want to watch an English commentary show, you can. You don't have to watch the Japanese commentary. So, anyway, there's that. And keeping with the last thing in Japan, earlier this week, I talked about Mariah May saying that I think it was Meltzer saying that. As of right now, we don't know if she's going to... This is basically what he said. We don't know if she's going to AEW or WWE. But from what I know, she's going to be staying in Japan. That's more or less what it says. I don't have the quote up here, so if I'm misquoting it completely wrong, my apologies. But Mariah May has told people in Japan that she's eventually coming back, and that she was going back home to see her family in the UK. She's flying back to the UK, not the US. AEW has expressed interest in her. That is from the Wrestling Observer newsletter. So it looks like she's going to be staying in Stardom, ladies and gentlemen, if you care. If you care. I think a lot of people just want her in the United States because she's hot. They don't really care about her in-ring ability or anything of that nature. I don't even think people really seen what she can do in the ring. They probably just want to, oh, she's super hot. Let's just bring her. Like, guys, tighten up. Like, there's a lot of hot women in wrestling too as well. I can acknowledge that. I do, drool over some of the women. I admit that, but goddamn, man, let's take a chill pill for a second. Let's not, let's not be horny, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week when it comes to these women's wrestlers. Okay. Can we do that? Can we tighten up a little bit around here? You know what I mean? But looks like she's gonna be staying in Japan. So if she wants to do that, good for her. She can hone in her craft even more. So moving on. Last story here. Until we hear further notice, until we hear on exactly what happened here, and also as well, I accidentally closed this out. Bryan Danielson and Ricky Starks got a 4.5 stars from Dave Meltzer for the Texas Death Match on Collision, which was a fantastic match. So that's my bad on that. Adam Cole will be undergoing surgery, and at this point, there is no estimate for when he'll return. Wrestling Observer newsletter. Until I see Adam Cole actually have surgery, they don't have to show it, but like stitches in his foot, and I can see his foot along with his face in the picture and like it's legit surgery and all that stuff, okay, then I'll say it's legitimate. But my wrestling mind and my wrestling head, I'm always thinking that this is gonna be a work. That's just the way I think. I'm thinking this will work, but as of right now, is leaning towards this is a real injury. Wish Adam Cole nothing but a speed recovery. But don't work me. Do not work me, Adam. Don't work me. But I do wish, legitimately though, like I really do wish him the best and a speed recovery. And that just sucks because we got this new story, and I think they were probably gonna do the story regardless, maybe. But yeah, we'll just have to wait and see. We'll have to wait and see on what happens with Adam Cole here, but wish him a speed recovery. Usually with broken ankles like this and torn ligaments, he's going to be out for the rest of the year. So he may not come back until early 2024. All right, guys, that is a week. That is a show. That is the show. That is this Friday. So I really appreciate you guys for making this this podcast very successful the first week. Had a super fun time doing this here, where we're going to keep continuing this thing here as long as I'm motivated here. But as right now, I'm having a blast doing this podcast somewhere. I really am. Talking about the news and stuff. So I'm having a blast so far. But yeah, guys, you guys know what to do. If you're on YouTube, leave a thumbs up on the way out. Leave a comment down below. Subscribe. Turn on those notifications bell. Also follow me on Twitter X. Link is down below. Also as well, follow me on Instagram as well. Do all that stuff. If you are catching this late here, or if you happen to hear this on Spotify, leave us a 5-star review or 5-star review on Apple Podcasts and Google Play as well. So go and do all that stuff for me here. But we'll be back Monday morning. We'll be reviewing 2 shows here. There's going to be a lot of news coming into Monday. I can guarantee you that, especially if Adam Copeland shows up at AEW WrestleDream. It's a huge wrestling weekend, guys. Love weekends like this. Is a lot of stuff to consume out there. But at the end of the day, guys, it's just wrestling, guys. Enjoy it. That's not the saying I said. At the end of the day. I don't even know what I'm saying. I'm trying to be slick here. But, at the end of the day, guys, seriously, at the end of the day, it's just pro wrestling. Just enjoy it. I'll see you guys later. You guys have a great weekend. And be safe and enjoy both WrestleDream and No Mercy this weekend. I'll see you guys later. Peace!